area, it revealed 4 casings in the street and a bullet hole in the driver door of the witness car. He described the driver of the Chrysler as a light-skinned black man with a small afro. On September 19, 2019, a police officer conducted a traffic stop of a black Ford Fusion, less than a mile from the scene of the first shooting. The driver was a man named Tyrese, also known as rapper Ty Bud. He was the founder and validated member of Sub, which meant Stand Up Boy. You probably heard of Sub Gang from the rapper Sub Tay. Sub Tay was affiliated with the Heights, and so was the whole Sub Gang. They were rivals of Manners as well. Upon questioning him, Ty Bud told the police that a young person he did not know shot at him 4 days earlier in the area near Fairfield Street and Eleanor Avenue. Ty Bud would not tell officers details of the shooting, saying something to the effect, "You know how it goes out here. I can't tell you what the person who shot at me looks like." On September 20th, 2019, a police officer contacted Keandre while he was sitting in the front passenger seat of the Chrysler, which was parked in his apartment complex. The registered owner of the car was also sitting in the passenger seat. During this encounter, there was approximately 8 other people gathered in the area from the Manors. Just the next day, around 3:45, on September 21st, 2019, Sincere, a young beloved member of the Heights who they called Sin, was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting near the intersection of Rio Linda Boulevard and North Avenue. Sin died of gunshot wounds to the right side of his chest. At the time of the shooting, Sin was in the front passenger seat of a red Dodge SUV, which was driven by another Heights member. The shooting occurred shortly after several other Heights members, and Sin just left Grant High School, which is in their hood.
Community in mourning tonight after a college football player and Grant High graduate was shot and killed in North Sacramento. The 19-year-old was found dead in a car last night, and tonight his family is searching for answers as police hunt for the person responsible.
Police tell us they're still working with this investigation and continue to work with some of the leads that they have coming in. You see behind me, there's still activity here in this North Sacramento neighborhood. People are just down the road still visiting this makeshift memorial. Now, again, people in this neighborhood tell me they have an idea about who's responsible, but so far no one has come forward. But today, instead, they decided to honor a young man who was considered to be a role model not only to his community but to his siblings as well.
Responding police found the 19-year-old slumped outside a car near North Avenue and Rio Linda Boulevard. The investigation is ongoing.
And everyone in this community knows someone, and that is the hope here, that someone will come forward and those responsible will be caught soon.
Video footage captured by various surveillance systems showed a silver Chrysler chasing down a red Dodge SUV just before the Chrysler accelerated and pulled up to the passenger side of the Dodge, then started firing. The Chrysler then seen fleeing the scene and driving towards the complex that Keandre lived in. An eyewitness to the shooting told the police that the shooter was skinny, light-skinned, and was an African-American man with a short fade. They noted that she got a quick but not great look at the shooter's face. The witness explained that the driver of the Chrysler pulled alongside of the red car and put his arm out the window. He then fired multiple gunshots at the red car, then continued driving. The witness was later shown a photo lineup that day and could not identify the shooter, but she identified Keandre as being one of the 3 individuals in the lineup who she believed could have been the shooter. Approximately 3 weeks later, she participated in a recorded person lineup at the county jail and selected Keandre, who was the only individual who appeared in both lineups. Since Sin died, he has been dissed a lot by the Manor side, but was praised by the Heights, which they even started calling their side of town Sin City.
Loyalty prices, do anything to get my brother back. I lost Sin, I lost John, I lost Jody, so now I'm double strapped. Reaper on my load up in traffic, so now I'm showing shacks. Life a gamble, play with my life, guaranteed I'm blowing back. Rolls on me bad, I'm in the mind just like I live in that. They say I'm more for death up in my sleep, I see the heaven gates. You gon' be a shooter or a victim when that metal quake. Suckers catch me loafing, guaranteed they not gon' hesitate. Catch it, suck a loaf, it's at your soul and watch them levitate. 6 glass, 1 chopper, 2 more shots and make them constipate. Sin die, if you didn't slide, please don't call me bro.
You're right, I do have that. But actually, it's a worthless bauble.
On September 25th, 2019, the Chrysler was impounded. On the same day, Keandre and another man named Chris were arrested. Based on information learned from Chris, a search was conducted at the residence on Tundra Way. During that search, a 40 Glock with a 15-round magazine was found under a mattress. A search of Keandre's cell phone revealed multiple photographs and videos of him holding a gun that looked similar to the gun found at Tundra Way, including videos made on September 16th and 19th. There was also a video of what appeared to be Keandre driving a Chrysler on September 17th. In the video of Keandre holding a gun, to talk about killing his rival. Keandre's phone also contained photographs showing that he was near the area of the first shooting the day before it happened, and also a video of him driving by the scene of the second shooting while holding what appears to be a gun.
Nothing on the
A
left
search of
hand.
Keandre's
The
Instagram
right?
account disclosed about 30 minutes
Shit,
after the
there's
first
nothing
shooting.
there either.
Keandre
Where the
posted
fuck
a
is that
message
written?
reading, "Something just happened.
Oh,
I might go
stench
down."
makes me want to
Around
puke.
40 minutes later,
Peshet will
posted a
pay for
message
this.
saying that he had to get out of there because he did not want to go to jail. Around 30 minutes later after that, he posted another message with a reference to getting out of town with guns. Other videos and photographs obtained from Keandre's Instagram account show him
That
repping the
road.
manners
Help.
and
Half a
dissing the
sack.
heights.
It certainly isn't.
Been convicted of murder after the deadly shooting that killed 19-year-old Sincere Dixon of Sacramento. It happened back in 2019. Investigators say Keandre Pratt shot 10 times at the vehicle Dixon was in. He's now facing a life in prison without the possibility of parole.
In a video posted on September 21st, 2019, the day of the third shooting, Keandre is seen beating up a Heist member who was dissing the manners on social media. During the fight in front of his apartment complex, Keandre stated during the fight, "Say that shit again," while Manor members were hyping him up while he fought. Keandre said, "You soft ass, I was just waiting to catch you. Now they know the real you." In a November 2019 jail call, Keandre indicated that he had a problem with the driver of the red Dodge SUV that he shot up. He explained that he got into it with the person at the mall, and the Heights member texted him trying to beef. In another jail phone call made in February 2020, Keandre made a reference to the guy he had beef with. He called him a bitch-ass person who was talking hella shit. The crazy thing about this is, apparently before becoming a Manor member, Keandre appeared to claim their rivals, the Heights, the people he was trying to kill. When he was younger, Keandre had multiple accounts on Facebook, one with the name Little Heights Dre, and in his pictures he was throwing up the Heights and even putting DPH in one of his pictures. For his role in the crimes that he committed, Keandre received life for all the crimes. He is now 25 and will never get out of prison, having life without parole for multiple shootings and the murder of Sin. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
I took control, went solo, and built my own online knife empire.
Welcome, everybody, to another courtroom event on lockdown.
July the 4th, 2025 was a big night for Los Angeles residents. For millions of Americans, Independence Day meant celebrating freedom with family, barbecues, parades, and spectacular firework displays lighting up the night sky. I was lucky enough to be in Los Angeles for this year's 4th of July, and I was honestly blown away by how serious people were taking it. It was nothing but explosions in the sky all night long, and it was like nothing I'd ever seen before in English bonfire night or New Year's. Americans take this stuff to another level, and I was genuinely scared by how huge some of these explosions in the sky were. For Extra, it was supposed to be another day of celebration, content creation, and connecting with his community. Beyond America's birthday, he had every reason to celebrate. His music career was gaining traction, his social media following was growing, and he had finally found a way to channel his larger-than-life personality into something more positive, gaining hundreds of thousands of followers and lucrative deals worth tens of thousands.
Easy, Hal. Hold your horses. If the ring wasn't...
Would it be possible that
Clever
either
lad.
their opponent than King Bill or 607 Unk could have been
All right,
just around the
get
corner,
past the
as well
lot.
as rumours of a
No.
possible matchup with another internet motor mouth Aaron the Plumber,
Yeah.
who 4Extra had clearly been keen on meeting up with. Ring had a feeling he was working in the background trying to find a way to make the fight happen. Apparently even getting offers from guys like Shayna.
Hold the lock with your right and use it to feel out the tumble. With your left, you hold the blade. Got it? Good. Now turn the whole lock with the blade. But don't stop holding the tumble. Otherwise, you're fucked. You'll have to start all over. You're a damn hand, Hal. Make something out of you yet. Remember, this trumps.
Basically, 4Extra was living his best life, trying to get more viral moments, right coming, who's on the cover, great. Online, 4Extra was using his no content, strict on, showing love to the people that he could.
kind of trick were you trying?
This was the kind of fearless, spontaneous, and unfiltered moment of comedy that had made him so popular. This excitement carried into the 4th of July, and 4Extra wasn't planning on celebrating with just some sparklers. He had big plans. As the day progressed, he posted a video of himself shopping for fireworks and joking about his big plans to blow big things up.
Vernon Avenue, you know, then you know. On Vernon Avenue, if you know, then you know. On Vernon Avenue, if you know, then you know. On Vernon Avenue, if you know, then you know. If you know, then you know. I'm about to blow somebody else up tonight. I'm about to blow somebody else up. I'm about to blow somebody else up. I don't know who else I'm gonna blow up, but I'm blowing somebody else up. On Vernon Avenue, I'm blowing something up. Yeah, Vernon Avenue. You see this mother Vernon Ave. Mean I'm blowing something up today. Hold on. Stop playing on Vernon Ave.
Wherever he decided to shop for fireworks was serious business, and their stock went far beyond your run-of-the-mill Roman candles and bottle rockets. He wanted M80s, military-grade explosives that had no business being in civilian hands. But what he didn't fully grasp in that moment was just how dangerous these explosives truly were.
Blow it up to the back, I'm blowing it up. Stop playing, see these? I'm throwing them in your house. I'm throwing them at you. Vernon Avenue, back. I'm blowing it up. I'm blowing somebody up today off the back.
You see, M80s were originally military artillery simulators designed in the early 20th century for training exercises. After World War II, leftover military M80s would find their way into the consumer market. But even consumer versions contained approximately 3 grams of flash powder, an enormous amount of explosive material. To put this into perspective, authorities limit all consumer fireworks to a maximum of just 50 milligrams of pyrotechnic flash powder. That's to say M80s contain 60 times that amount, making their destructive potential in civilians' hands so much worse, with a documented history of gruesome injuries that your parents may well have warned you about. For instance, back in 2000, a man in his late 30s had to undergo hand transplant surgery after a fireworks accident more than a decade earlier had destroyed his dominant hand. And unfortunately for 4Extra, he was about to suffer the same fate. As evening fell across LA, 4Extra had prepared to light up the night in a
nothing but
way. Armed with his M80s and riding high on the adrenaline of the day's festivities, he likely never imagined that he was about to become another statistic in the long history of firework tragedies. One viral video later circulated showing 4Extra being extremely reckless with a smaller set of fireworks, as he was seen running in the street firing a succession of fireworks without aim and putting the people around him in terror. Fortunately, it seemed that nobody else was hurt as a result of that particular set of explosives, but it showed that perhaps 4Extra wasn't taking the danger of this arsenal seriously. It's been reported that 4Extra may have been in a car where he intended to light the M80 and throw it out of the window.
What I heard, he was actually in the car and he was lighting the firework, about to throw it out the window, and his homie was driving, and that's why his homie, I think, may have lost an ear, this part of his face, and an eye. Now, I'm not even 100% sure who the friend is. I don't know if it's somebody that he's ever, like, brought to the office or somebody that I've ever spent time around. But, and then in addition, 4Extra, I think it being, you know, contained was probably worse for whatever happened to his vision because of the fact that they were in a car, and I guess the window was probably down, but the roof and everything is going to kind of contain the blow. I don't know.
However, according to some, this unit may have had a faulty fuse, as it's believed that this M80 exploded almost immediately, causing catastrophic injuries to both 4Extra and his passenger. The M80 detonated in his right hand with the force of a quarter stick of dynamite, blowing off his fingers and tearing through flesh, with a particularly gruesome picture of the injury going viral all over the world, showing 4Extra sat on the ground attempting to stop the bleeding and assessing his injury in shock. Within minutes, 911 operators received a frantic call reporting that someone had severely injured their hand with fireworks.
Train 99 requesting additional unit and supervisor 43rd in Vermont.
Train 99, can I get an RA for a male, approximately 30 years of age, conscious and breathing, located sample for the fireworks?
Train 99, repeat.
And his location. Sure, 31-2 is there after the additional unit request.
4Extra would be pictured being taken away from the scene in an ambulance and quickly being rushed to the hospital where he would undergo emergency surgery. As the story went viral all over the world, it sparked endless speculation about the extent of the damages. According to people close to him, he had lost multiple fingers and suffered severe palm damage.
They're gonna have to take him all the way down to the wrist.
Yeah, he's about
to have a nub.
Tell me. gotta take him to the wrist.
Tell me.
Cause right, they told me, the homies I was there said they blew off his 2 middle fingers.
What?
The 3 middle fingers.
Do you know?
Yeah,
That's all.
No. That's
Good luck,
and
then.
a thumb, something like that. I think like the thumb and another finger. There's only 2 fingers left.
The blast had also temporarily blinded him for about 2 hours. In the age of social media, 4Extra's accident did remain private.
It was a day like any other.
Subject of multiple news stories. Within hours, images
Another ordinary day in my ordinary life.
Giving people a visceral understanding of the destructive power of these illegal explosives. The public response was also swift and merciless, with countless memes and jokes flooding the internet. But it wasn't just the general public mocking him. His ops enemies would also use this as ammunition against him.
I woke at first light before the others.
Was faking it for attention.
Most Planet Fitness clubs are
I
open
like
24
those
hours,
kind of
so you can
mornings.
work out whenever. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. You in?
Right, better get to work. I have to feed the hens, weed the garden, feed Tinker. I'd better get it all done before Papa is up.
Listen, everyone. On another episode of
I must bring Tinker a piece of meat. That'll be a nice treat.
faking like they really hands off. We all know that that's AI, man. These out here using AI technology, and you can't believe you see on the internet, man. Let's be real.
607 Unk also made a post secretly hinting at doing voodoo on 4Extra.
Here,
and
chicky,
dreaming
chicky,
about his
chicky.
bad luck.
Here you are, girls. Fill your beaks.
You know what happened? Unc put that voodoo on his. Unc put that 607 voodoo. Yeah, he put that voodoo on his. They better quit playing with Unc. He put that voodoo on his.
Other internet personalities like Aaron the Plumber would also jump on the troll train, mocking and challenging 4Extra to a handball match.
Tell Nub I challenge him to a handball match. Let's see who can juggle better in a real way.
Even members of the Rolling 40s decided to kick 4Extra while he was down, with one person posting how he was never really part
Look
of
what
their
I
hood.
got,
Even
you
fellow
love.
famous 40X4 would call him from jail to make fun of 4Extra's injury and using his catchphrase against him.
Play with them explosives and blew his off. Then homies and blew his motherfucking hand off, cuz. Come on, cuz. Told you not to play with them explosives, cuz. On Westside 40. Dead over. He wearing them explosives off the back. Hey, on the dead homies. Ain't no more taking over the beehive now. He gonna beat your stupid. Hey, I'm gonna put one hand behind my back and cover, cuz. You wanna say? Off the back. Yeah, he got one hand, cuz. That's funny. Hey, you know the Family Guy with the stick hand? Got the stick hand on Family Guy, cuz, on the dead homie. That's hilarious, cuz. Karma is real. That's the kind of smart scripted.
That should do it. The garden is looking how it should again.
Teresa,
Despite
come
the
here.
mockery, 4Extra still had people in his corner. His pregnant girlfriend
all
was
right?
in hospital
No,
states, tried to
unless
maintain hope
you ought to
despite
follow
the
your.
gravity of the
Well, at least
situation.
he's
In
still
messages preserving his
lazy
fighting
at work for
spirit,
his.
she claimed that he said despite the injury, he'd still be able to
No.
fight and put
You
hands
could
on
tell.
people
Right.
with a viral
I
comment.
j-
Hers claiming
oh,
that
and-
he would still be putting belt to ass even with this injury. His
Really?
sister Emily opened a GoFundMe to help with medical expenses, raising over $13,000. And even Baton Rouge rap superstar Kevin Gates pulled up on 4Extra in hospital to check up on him. He would record a clip with Baby Runner from the 40s, who called him a real one and said that the streets love Kevin Gates for the support that he's shown.
Looks like it'll be. But there'll be no. Not the first accident you've had, though.
There you go.
You silly.
Don't I always?
Another Instagram carousel would circulate, taken only 6 days after the incident, with 4Extra joined in the hospital by his day one homies, telling fans that he was making a fast recovery and that God is good. Fortunately, 4Extra survived this incident, and despite this serious-looking injury, it was only a matter of days before he was outside of the hospital, and clearly the injury didn't stop his hustle, because his first appearance on social media since being discharged was clearly a nice payday for him. In this comeback video, he would be seen inside of a clothing store with his hand in a cast.
Why would he do that? Then he'd be left only with Stibor.
That's more.
That's all I get on Vernon Avenue. Off the back, that's all I get. It's Blue Street, dead home. I don't know what it's for. Dead home when I'm back. Police in the hood, you know I. 4-0, I'm back.
After this likely lucrative payday, it didn't
I
take
feed
long
a whole
for Forex
family
to
with
put
these
out
two
more
hands,
content on his
while yours
Instagram.
are only
His next post later that day would be another touching image of him back in his home,
Teresa,
resting his head on his
I'm
girlfriend's pregnant belly with a caption reading, "Life of a Soldier." That was followed by what everybody was waiting for, with Forex then posting another video which saw him delivering a heartfelt message thanking his supporters and fans, updating them on where he's at with things, and promising to come back stronger than ever.
Off the back, Crenshaw the Fig, Vernon Avenue, I'm back. Off the back, I'm back. Vernon Ave. Dead home. But I came to make this video for all my supporters and all my fans, to everybody that show love and gave support around this world. That's what I came to make this video for everybody around this world. On Vernon Avenue, I had to make this video for all the supporters and all my fans around the world. Off the back, I'm dead home. Just for every real around the world, every real female around the world, to all the little people that show support around the world. On Vernon Avenue, off the back, I gotta show y'all support and give my respect to y'all. Dead homies, I love y'all. That's off the back, off my back, off the back. Off the back, I ain't gonna stop saying it. That's my heart on the dead homies. Vernon Avenue Crit, dead homies. Thank you for all your support, for all your love, for being here from around this world, everybody from around this world, every real good, every real female for being there for me, supporting, showing up, showing your love to everybody in the industry that showed your love.
No sign of the blacksmith. Where can he be?
That hood up, a real Vernon Avenue on the dead homie. You forever locked in on Vernon Avenue on hood to every mother.
Good morning.
Around this world and
Fuck
shot me
up.
out from the end
All
of
right.
the street to the
Do
ghetto
that.
to the
Which
block to
girls?
the street.
Bianca and your.
What was it about?
On the hood.
They didn't say.
I love you.
But it seemed.
On Vernon Avenue, the back,
There's,
the dead homie. That's real.
Thanks for
real females.
I haven't seen him.
Dead homie.
No doubt.
On the hood. And I always say, love it like you love it. I had to love that one, and I'm healing up quick. I'm healing up quicker than stink. So on Vernon Avenue, dead homies, you better be ready. Cause this the only thing it did was open doors and make me a more animal.
From here, 4Extra would seemingly be happy to be back outside and continue posting. He would be seen in the studio reportedly recording his first verse and promising followers that the only thing that's changed since the accident is that the numbers are different.
I said again. What? Vernon Avenue. All the way.
What they thought was gonna change?
I don't know what they thought they changed. I'm about to think something did change. What? Motherfucking numbers, cuz.
Yeah,
On
what
Vernon
they
Avenue.
do?
This made me worse, cuz.
Yeah,
How
are you, Teresa?
So when you call me on hood, make sure you call me correct.
The clip would later circulate teasing a snippet from his comeback song, where he told the story of what was going through his mind when he suffered the injury and how it affected
Here we
his
are.
mental state.
I'm glad that fed. He said, "Hi."
But
What I call meanwhile.
Interestingly, he would use his buzz to promote his close friends from his neighborhood's music, popping out with a shout out for his homie Izzy Loke, who just released a new song.
Vernon Avenue, Crenshaw the Fig, neighborhood Crip. That's from the dead homies, cuz. The hood, the homie cuz, Islo, cuz on West Side Rollers. Cuz, yeah, cuz on West Side Rollers. He like cuz on neighborhood Crip. Got this sick.
God be with you, Henry.
Like, I just did a sick ass song. He like, no, cuz.
I brought-
First off, cuz, I'm glad you're alive and you well, cuz. I'm like,
Okay, what's his name?
Vanyek. And he,
He like,
yeah,
cuz, but I got this
I mean,
Me?
sure.
I want you to promote for me. I'm like,
You
cuz, come
well,
on,
see, you-
cuz. He like, I'm telling you, it's sick on West Side Road. I'm like, let me hear it. Let me hear it on West Side Road. I had to make this for cuz. I had to, cuz. I'm like, what's the name of the song? Cuz said, True Ether. I'm like, hold on. Hey, that's like Kryptonite version of Kryptonite, cuz. Like with Superman and them. He like, yeah, cuz, on neighborhood Crip. I'm like, cuz, hey. I'm like, on West Side Road. Cuz, sick.
Greetings.
4Extra had clearly not lost
Good
his positive
day to
energy,
you.
and he would continue to post himself
What are you-
outside, enjoying the
he
LA
wa-
summer with his
or-
friend,
right.
not letting this injury stop him one bit.
This
Yeah.
right here.
Fish?
I'm just trying to figure out. Hey, can let me use like $1 million or something? Can I use $1
What?
million now?
What?
Can I?
Could so you
I tell it on Vernon Avenue. I dress every day like my C-Day. I'm just trying to figure it out. Hey, can I use $1 million back there, cuz? Hey, cuz, let me hold like 10. Let me hold like 10, cuz. Could I hold 10? God, baby, get.
From here, he would continue tapping in with new people, next getting a tour of the re-entry podcast studios with Miss Contrary, continuing speculation about where his podcast career would be going next.
Are you the boss? Yeah, I gotta go now.
God save you, Cat. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. You wouldn't even know it was all
Good
back
day.
here.
Lend my...
We need our engineers, but we're gonna show you everything.
And then I go to jail the next time, and I'm in jail and I'm here this corporation. But I'm glad for success. I'm glad he on. I'm glad he, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad he out here making a difference over here in this area.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? He turned negative into a positive on the east side. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of him.
The injury clearly could not stop 4Extra's immaculate gripping, as he would then post another video carousel in a fresh fit, blue head to toe, and throwing up the set. He would also be spending more and more time in the studio, being seen recording and teasing a verse that he had recorded with buzzing rapper Blanco 15.
What do you say?
A groschen or two?
Unfortunately though, one of the saddest consequences of this incident was the strain that it seemed to put on the relationship between Adam 22 of No Jumper and 4Extra. Naturally, this being huge news all over the world, considering 4Extra's position as one of the most beloved recurring guests on No Jumper, Adam and the cast would immediately react to the tragic news, with Adam 22 taken to No Jumper News 3 days after the incident to update fans on 4Extra's condition and speculating on his potential return.
I have joined the news because, let's be real, something happened over the weekend.
God be with you, Teresa.
4Extra blew his hand off.
I've got...
And obviously, this was an extremely viral thing to have taken place. In particular, I think because of the fact that he has essentially built his entire name off of, you know, threatening violence, saying that he wanted to pack people out, claiming that he won 10 fights in a row in jail, well, he never claimed that he put a carrot in his butt, but we all kind of, or in someone else's butt, we all kind of know that he probably did, and it took the internet by storm, and it was even crazier that it was 4th of July weekend. It was, everybody had plenty of time on the internet, everybody's looking at their phones, hanging out with their families, and all of a sudden we find out that someone who, in many people's minds, was the most viral No Jumper host of all time, many would say, was now a man without a hand. And there were a lot of insensitive reactions to it that I'm sure we all saw. A famous gang member, a famous icon in this space, somebody that the people are so intrigued by, they'll just click on hearing him talk about so many different things. And now to know that a large part of his claim to fame is gone, I mean, I honestly kind of feel like I just lack the words to even describe how crazy and shitty and messed up the situation is, you know?
In the live, Adam revealed that he'd not spoken to 4Extra yet, confirming that he had sent well wishes and a voice note and that he'd been getting updates from his manager Lupe, and expressing disappointment that he had offered to go to the hospital but had been told that he wasn't taking guests. Only to find out that Kevin Gates had then been allowed to visit.
Have you spoken to him?
I have not. I sent him a voice note. I've been
What
speaking
about
to
that
Lupe.
nest test?
It's like group
Or
chat
do you
with
want to
Lupe
keep going?
and Whack and Remo that has been kind of our main way that we've been finding stuff out. I know Remo's hopped on the phone with Lupe a couple times, but I have not actually spoken to him. Although I offered
What about that
to
nest
go
test?
to the
Or do you want to
hospital
keep
this
going?
morning and was told that he's not going to be having guests at
God
this
save
time. And
Teresa.
then I did see Kevin Gates there, so that was
Shows you where you stand.
You're
that was a little trouble.
You're mad. You are. All right.
That was like yesterday. I offered to come today, but anyway, like Whack was in the group chat, so Whack was tripping on Luke. How dare you let Kevin Gates go there? Adam can't go there. I'm like, damn, I wouldn't have even thought to raise a stink about that.
Clearly there was some animosity brewing between Adam and 4Extra as a result of this. Adam likely felt that prior to this incident, he had done a lot to help 4Extra.
I
not
wonder
just
what
putting him on at
happened
No
here.
Jumper as a
I
host,
saw it the
but
last
also
time,
rumored to have been paying him a
but
significant
no one
monthly fee to
reported
appear
anything
on
in
the show.
Scarlet.
So Adam
Do you
was hurt
think they
that 4Extra
skidded off the
hadn't
road
accepted
and
his offer to
something
visit.
devoured
Sadly,
them?
their relationship would
Maybe.
only deteriorate further when Ingrid's
Maybe
family
a
Rose,
wolf?
an apparent
I
enemy
thought
of
you didn't
4Extra,
believe in
another
wolves.
regular on No
I
Jumper, Munchie
don't.
D, would share his thoughts on
I
the incident.
didn't.
Munchie had
Better
already
keep
taken
going.
the opportunity
Come on.
to rub salt in the wound, taken to his own YouTube channel just 2 days after the accident to make some tasteless jokes about 4Extra's injury. In a video on his channel titled 4Extra Go Out With a Boom on the 4th of July, Munchie would address the situation, saying that 4Extra can no longer fight, but also saying that he shouldn't back down on the gangster talk with this injury, pointing out that even after getting shot and losing his sight himself, Munchie D is still outside and standing on business for his set.
I hope you keep the same energy.
We'll turn
Hand or
into
no
the
hand.
woods here
You know what I'm saying?
and go uphill a
It's
bit.
Buddy Crip
Follow
till
me.
you die, not till your hand get blown off. You know what I'm saying? So keep the same energy. Cause I do it. So
It's a sweet little garden, isn't it? I never met anyone here, but it's always welcome. Probably some witch. Who else would keep a garden in the woods? It's a shame that witch doesn't grow belladonna too. Did you hear that? We'd better keep going, all right?
I don't want to hear all the BS, you know what I'm saying? I got shot, got my vision. Guess what? Still outside. Still outside. Still B-teaming, podcasting, making music, doing whatever I want to do. I got the same energy from before I got shot to right now.
Munchie would go on to make a series of disrespectful puns about 4Extra's injury.
Everybody heard the latest and the greatest with 4Extras. He won't be giving out no favors. You ask for 4Extras. I wish I could give you a hand. I mean, I wish I could help you out in this situation, but you know what I'm saying?
We're nearly there.
But you know what I'm saying?
We'll go along the road here and then back into the woods.
Hey, look, I got a little joke, right? Look, what did the robber say to 4Extras during a robbery? Hand it over.
May the Lord watch over you, Tess.
Hey, yo, it's real funny, ain't it? Oh, hey, no, I got one more. Hold on. What did the young lady say when she approached 4Extras in the party?
Right.
You look bomb. I don't care if y'all think it's funny. I think it's funny. Yo, it's real funny, bro. Talk all that.
I'd better pick
look.
as much as I
See
can.
how life works? Crazy, ain't it?
This was already a very disrespectful way to
To
handle
me.
the issue, but at this point, Munchie was on his own channel with his own personal issues with 4Extra. 4Extra would feel personally slighted when Adam asked Munchie his thoughts on the situation and had no jump on where it seems Adam accidentally ended up making jokes about the situation, realizing it. Disrespect.
You all saw it explode onto the internet. I was say we can talk about that too, but it turns out.
Explode onto the internet.
See, that's the problem, man, because even
You can't say nothing, huh?
exactly. I already had somebody tell me, "Oh, why you dressed up like the firecracker that blew his hand up?" I'm like, God damn, I can't even put a tie-dye shirt on without somebody coming up with a narrative.
He's crazy. Man.
Anyway,
I seen you donated $1,000. You gonna get that new robot thing going, huh? AI technology.
That's the government. They got, look how bad this looks already. Already, people are trying to get me to laugh, crack jokes.
Adam would go on to ask the room their thoughts on the situation and made it very clear that both Munchie B and King Pill had issues with 4Extra from the outset, and giving them the floor to disrespect 4Extra and justify their reasons for being so disrespectful, with a debate then taking place on whether or not it should be expected for the ops to make fun of each other when they get hurt, with it being revealed that Baby Runner had apparently admonished Munchie B for dissing 4Extra and acting like someone had scored a point against him rather than him suffering a tragic accident.
4Extra's lost his hand.
Man.
Let's talk about it. How did you first feel when you saw it? At least some people here in the room, as we told you, some people here have a dog in the fight.
All right.
Munchie had been going back and forth with him, on him, saying that he wasn't all he was cracked up to be. And then, in addition to that, King Phil had been turned down for a fight, and 4Extras actually said that you were a smoker, that you were not worthy of getting in the ring with him, etc.
Damn.
I can't help but feel like it probably hit Shaw slightly different than it hit other people.
Oh yeah, man.
Teresa.
I was thinking it was AI at first. You feel me? I'm like, man, this gotta be AI.
Like 8 hours after it came out, he was still hitting me up like, y'all really want us to believe this?
Yeah, man, I'm thinking it's gonna come out the bag, off the back. Talking about I'm back. I didn't believe that.
Okay.
So I'm like, I think the Fade God did that. You know, everybody pray to a God that they pray to. And when you one of these fighters, unknowingly, you might be praying to these fight gods. And when you turn the Fade down, you gotta Gotta suffer a consequence.
Man, there's gotta
That's
be.
what I thought about at the crib when I was faded.
You thought that it was. You think it's karma from the fade god?
There has to
From
be a
the
rapper
fade
called
I'm
Fade
so
God.
glad I asked you. Listen, I actually gave Munchie B credit on the news yesterday. There's a clip of me talking about this when I first came in Monday, and I said how Munchie B didn't disrespect For Extra, and then a lot of people were pointing out, no, Adam, you got that wrong. Munchie absolutely was making jokes as soon as this happened.
I don't think genuinely that Munchie went as hard as he could have. You feel me? Like,
I mean,
None.
let's ask the mayor himself.
Selective politicking.
How do you?
Yeah, hell yeah. Cause
Who
for one,
said selective politicking? It ain't selective politicking. You know what? I said. Let me just get out the way real quick. Like I said, only thing when I seen it, right, when I seen Munchie B little jokes and all that, like I said, yeah, he could have went way harder. But like I said, when I seen the jokes, I was surprised. I was like, I didn't think Munchie would hop out there like that. You feel me? And like a few people, that's just my opinion. Like, did Munchie do something wrong? Like I told Munchie Munchie, like, nigga, I did something wrong. I'm like, no, you ain't did nothing wrong. Who am I to say you did something wrong? Like, at the end of the day, like, you can't tell nobody how to mourn or how to handle disrespect or how to taunt a person that's supposed to be an enemy, or that you say but you know, just like I said, you know, I'm like, I wouldn't have did it, but like, shit, hey, like, I can't get mad. I'm not mad, but
why people don't hold their own homies accountable when they do like things that ain't tasteful on the internet? You know what I'm saying? He do know it's a little dude on the internet programming from a cell that got a YouTube channel that blasted my social number all on his content. I didn't cry about it. Okay, he said they acting like they came through and shot the homie. Whoop. Nah, we ain't acting like that.
Like, people is celebrating like they came through and down theme, or they put in some work on it. And a firecracker did it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say like the families or try to reference that.
Bro,
he said that's just how people will celebrate.
Bro, they do the same thing with this blind with me, bro. And the 40s.
I said that as well.
that was my whole thing.
If you on the internet, bro, your skin gotta be thicker than a Montclair coat for sure. Like all that being sensitive for y'all homie, that's out. He entered this content, and then the thing is, they took out of the whole video, they took these two little bush jokes and highlighted that. But I'm saying, I hope he keep the same energy. Don't let it hinder him, because it ain't hinder me. I Ubered up here by myself before. I'm still podcasting, rapping. If I call a meeting in the hood, a lot of people will come. Just carry on, because how you is right now, that's what it is, bro. So get used to it.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and exclusive access to all things VIP, so you can superfan from your sofa. YouTube Premium, it's way more than ad-free. Try 1 month on us.
All that crying, I don't want to hear that shit.
Could y'all imagine what he would have been like if it was somebody that he ain't with? He would have been on here laughing like a.
Okay, but to just shoot him some bail, he never really engaged with all that too much. Like
I didn't like that. And I held back, and the only reason why I brought it up that one day because it fit the conversation. But all I ain't Munchie B. What the you mean? And then if I'm trying to act like that ain't a knock on nobody. Then
my bad too, because look, because I didn't,
and I'm like, I'm not young Ant. I'm kicking him.
Yeah,
it's a knock on him. And then they forget that said he had knocked me out. Because all I said was, you're lying. You didn't do what you said to the homie. And he said, and much you know. I would have ran across. I would have knocked you out too. I didn't say nothing about that. That's cool. I mean, whatever. But you ain't never said nothing about much. Yeah, he did. I just didn't speak up on it. I just put it in my memory bank and kept it pushing. But they not be so sensitive.
Nah, facts. Because I mean, even with me, like I've had infinite jokes about T-Rail and his little baby arm. I've had a million jokes about, I don't know, other people who got or whatever, and it's like I wouldn't ever make a joke about Munchie not being able to see, but then at the same time, it's like it's kind of hard to like blame everybody for making jokes about For Extra when we've all kind of done the same thing to various people that we don't like, and then we kind of like we could hold ourselves to a different standard as people that with For Extra. Well, me and you, Lush, to a certain extent, but you know, for a lot of other people, it's very understandable that they're going to come with the most offensive possible.
Honestly, I'm really rooting for him on some bounce back.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Just keep the same energy and don't let it hinder you. I mean,
So Munchie believed that since 4Extra disrespected him in the past, then he was justified in mocking his injuries. And Munchie would go on to stand on his points, saying that he didn't agree with Baby Runner and said that in this new generation of the streets, people are extremely disrespectful and this sort of thing should be expected.
Runner was saying, like,
No.
you didn't agree with his points?
Hell no. I didn't agree with nothing. This a new generation smoking on ops, all kind of shit. And then they acting like he a little girl that got hit by a drunken driver. This ain't that. Bro, look. This the same dude that said he beat up on somebody just because they from Inglewood and he don't gangbang. Just because they live in my neighborhood, bro. It's hard to have compassion for somebody like that. Oh, yeah. No, you everybody affiliated with somebody. That don't mean they gangbangers. Just because they live in my hood, you whooped on them. And he said this on the internet for everybody repeatedly.
Despite the fact that Adam kind of tried to defend 4Extra and seemed to make it clear that he didn't condone the disrespect, Adam would go on to explain that 4Extra's people were upset with him and 4Extra's manager Lupe for sharing information about the possibility of him being blind to the public, something that Adam thought he was being told to communicate to the fans.
I don't know, all right, I just want to issue this clarification before we even get any further into this discussion, is that basically I put out a statement basically where I said that I had heard that he lost his vision, but then most of it came back. And from what I heard, people are basically, like, people in 4X's family or like her camp or whatever, they're mad at Lupe because they feel like Lupe was the one who told us that he even like lost his vision in the first place. In reality, Lupe was basically like avoiding telling me anything. She told me, yeah, like maybe his vision was bad at first, but like he got it back or whatever, which I actually don't really believe. I have various reasons, but I feel like his vision is still very f***ed up. If anything, I think Lupe lied to me and told me that his vision had gotten significantly better.
Well, that's the family's telling you to say that.
But I talked to her earlier, and she sounded very upset because I guess that she got like a bunch of backlash from people that are close to him, family, etc., because they're kind of just like assuming that she's the one who said something to me about his vision in the first place. A lot of the information that we've been getting, because we haven't been like really in direct communication with people that are like super close to him, but a lot of the communication that we're getting is kind of like from third party, like one person says it to someone else and then that person mentions it and then I hear about it, etc. So I mean, I just want to say anybody who's acting like Lupe is the problem or that Lupe was trying to expose private information about 4Extra or whatever, that narrative is cap. So I just want to throw that out there first.
It would turn out that 4Extra would take this incredibly personally, and he didn't like that Adam had given an enemy of his a platform to talk about his injury disrespectfully, with Adam later revealing that 10 days after the accident that he'd finally got a call from 4Extra, but it didn't seem on friendly terms, with 4Extra apparently admonishing Adam for allowing Munchie to speak ill upon him on the No Jumper platform and suspiciously inviting Adam to discuss the matter in person at a studio, a scenario that Adam quickly deduced was likely a trap that could have resulted in physical harm.
I did speak to 4Extras on the phone on Friday. Now, I will reveal to the people, he was not 100% happy with me. He felt like it was weak for me to be on a podcast with people that he perceives as ops and to ask them what they thought about the situation with his blowing up of his hand. And I get that, because realistically, you know, this is an op-friendly podcast. There's a lot of people on here who certain people get along with, don't get along, etc. I think he even felt a way about King Pill being on the podcast. We can get into that Zest arc in a moment and everything. But he did feel a way about that, and it was a little bit of a threatening or like an angry vibe to it. Like, pull up on me in the studio. I want to talk to you. Just me and you. I want to talk to you. And I'm like, ooh. I'm like, what are you doing for extra? Why you acting like that? Why you acting like you a little mad at me? What is that? And he's like, nah, just pull up to the studio. I want to talk to you. And I kept pushing, and that's when he revealed that at least the thing that he wanted to mention that he was annoyed by was me talking to people that he doesn't get along with about his hand or whatever. My response to that really is like, bro, we talk about current events. You blowing up your hand was the biggest thing of that week. I'm on a podcast with people that you don't technically get along with. We talking about it. I'm sorry, man. That's just how this goes. Anyway, the next day, and I haven't spoken to him since then. I actually gave him a call this morning, and he didn't pick up. I don't know how late he's sleeping in at this point. But the next day, I got contacted by 2 different people in this content space who told me that they had conversations with him about his request to be paid handsomely for an interview. They both informed me that they spoke to him, that they turned him down, and then they told me how the conversation went. I didn't reach out for this information. They just reached out to me. So 4Extra is out there digging for gold, trying to find someone who wants to invest in his comeback tale. As far as if his return interview will be on No Jumper, I don't know. I'm waiting to speak to him. So I will have to leave you guys in wait for that information.
Aside from this apparently aggressive conversation and attempted jumping, Adam would also share that 4Extra was not intending to host his comeback interview on No Jumper, and instead was shopping his return interview for a reported price of $50,000, initially contacting DJ Vlad, who apparently declined the big ticket offer.
He reached out to 2 people in this space that we know.
He definitely reached out to Vlad, and Vlad was not feeling it. Vlad said that when he requested that he didn't even make him a counter offer because he just felt like it was so outlandish that it was just not even close.
He's standing on that 50 bands.
I mean, he's shooting for the 50 bands. I don't know where he's going to land, but for sure then, I mean, I assume he does one high-priced interview maybe at some point, and then he comes and speaks to me afterwards and tells me, oh, let's get back to a regular content schedule. But the thing about it is that it's like, you know, if he's playing hardball, I'm playing hardball. So when it comes time to renegotiate, who knows where we land. So you know, the people out there, you can all wait. You'll find out more information in the near future, but that's where I'm at as far as the 4Extra return.
Unfortunately, it seems that Adam took this as a betrayal, and he made his feelings known that he wouldn't be willing to increase the price that he was paying 4Extra, considering what he was already paying him before this to be an already generous price.
I personally found that annoying. But also, listen, if 4Extra wants to go get his money somewhere, by all means. Will that affect negotiations as far as how his future on No Jumper looks? Probably, yeah.
As it stands, it seems that both Adam and 4Extra are being stubborn on their positions, and it's hard to see how they're going to repair this situation. As a fan of both of them, it's heartbreaking to see such a misunderstanding coming off the back of a tragic incident, and I truly hope that both of them can patch things up and return to doing what they both do best together, making more of the kind of engaging content that made fans fall in love with 4Extra and his infectious personality to begin with. Like I said in the beginning, for those who truly knew 4Extra's story, the irony of this accident was almost too profound to comprehend. This was a man who'd survived attempted murder charges at 12 years old, who'd stared down rival gang members from LA's deadliest sets, who had walked out of a maximum security prison after nearly a decade behind bars and lived to tell the tale. Yet in the end, it wasn't a rival gang member's bullet that incapacitated him. It wasn't a prison yard stabbing or a RICO case or any of the countless other dangers that had defined his life. Notorious for his fighting hands, it was an unthinkable freak accident that threw his entire persona up into the air. We've covered countless stories from the streets where the lesson at the end is how senseless the tit-for-tat gang wars can become. But this story took a turn that was so unexpected, many people still don't know how to process this.
The tournament is here. The new season of Twisted Metal is streaming now, only on Peacock.
I'm hosting a tournament.
We have to win.
Cowabunga. I've been waiting minutes for this.
Every year, the only goal that you have is winning the Super Bowl. If we don't win it, it's a failure.
All this pressure builds up.
How about those G's?
This is 33 Thomas Street, right in the heart of Manhattan. A towering, windowless monolith, pitch black at night. A 20th century fortress built to withstand a nuclear blast. A skyscraper to be inhabited by machines. Behind its walls lies a secret mass surveillance center. It's believed to be one of the NSA's most critical spy hubs on US soil. It's a key location for some of the agency's biggest operations. From here, the agency has been spying on the entire world. For decades, its true purpose was hidden, until 2 whistleblowers pulled back the curtain. We got up close to this mysterious structure and couldn't resist trying to sneak inside.
The security guard is still there. She has not moved.
This is the insane story of the NSA spy scraper. Parts of this video are based on investigative reporting by The Intercept. We highly recommend checking it out.
I am off the subway, and I am now heading to the building. Oh, actually, I see it right now, and it is huge.
We wanted to know everything about this building, so we sent a friend to check it out.
Hi, I'm Sharik, and I am a filmmaker. Today, I am about to go check out 33 Thomas Street, so I am heading there now, and I'm taking you guys with me.
Sharik is probably on some list now, so show her some love in the comments.
Do you know what's in this building? I'm like,
No idea.
You don't? Okay.
I've always thought about this building. There's no windows, there's only like vents. I don't know what it is. It's kind of strange. I have no clue.
Some people think it might be the NSA, like on one of like the biggest surveillance hubs.
Yeah, it probably is.
33 Thomas Street is unlike any other building in Manhattan. The skyscraper is located here, in the Tribeca area. It was built in 1969 and completed in 1974. While it's not as tall as many of the other towers around, it still stands out. The building is about 170 meters tall, with 29 floors above the ground, plus 3 underground levels. There's a strange beauty to its design, fascinating enough that it draws you in, yet so intimidating it makes you uncomfortable. When you stand before it, one thing immediately stands out. It is entirely windowless.
This building literally has no windows. Like, it's very odd. Also, there's just really not a lot of people on this street, like, at all.
Peeking inside is almost impossible. On levels 10 and 29, there are several large openings, massive air vents that hint at what might be going on inside. 33 Thomas Street is often described as one of the most secure buildings in the US. The facade is sealed with flame-treated Swedish granite, a material known for its exceptional durability and resistance. In the event of a disaster, the building can operate entirely off-grid for 2 weeks. Almost 1 million liters of fuel are on hand to power backup generators. Food and water reserves are stocked to sustain 1,500 people. It's also equipped with its own wastewater systems and decontamination showers. If an atomic blast would hit New York City without destroying the building, the inside would be shielded from the nuclear fallout. 33 Thomas Street truly is a 20th century fortress. John Carl Warnock, the architect behind it, was best known for designing bold, unconventional buildings in the 60s and 70s. This is what his other buildings look like. The style is called brutalism, a design philosophy centered on raw materials, stark geometric shapes, and function. Brutalism emerged after World War II, driven by the need for affordable, practical structures. Warnock was also influenced by contextualism, an architectural theory focused on harmonizing buildings with their surroundings. 33 Thomas Street, however, doesn't blend in, it haunts. By day, it stands out. By night, it becomes a shadow, almost vanishing into the darkness.
So I came back at night, and I wanted to see if this place was still as spooky as it is during the day, and it absolutely is.
But what was it actually built for? It's the late 1960s. As the world becomes more connected, the demand for efficient telecommunication is expanding rapidly. Most communication still runs through analog systems, but that technology is reaching its limit, especially for long-distance phone calls. There's a need for something new. Time to escape old physical boundaries and technological limitations. Kind of, like working remotely. Away from your machine while still being able to access it with no lag, even in poor Wi-Fi conditions. Transfer files, edit your videos in a nice cafe, watch a render fail in immeasurable frustration from a beach chair. With AnyDesk, you can access any device from anywhere. The connection is so fast, it feels like you're sitting right in front of the remote machine. And it works on every platform. Windows, macOS, Linux, even Apple TV, and many more. AnyDesk also has a range of industry-standard security features, things you might never think about, but that are essential. AnyDesk doesn't collect your data, it's lightweight, privacy-focused, and built for performance. We use it all the time to escape our YouTuber basements and touch some grass for once. It never lets us down. You should really give it a shot. Try AnyDesk for free at anydesk.com/fern and maintain control of your devices, anytime, anywhere. At the time, most long-distance calls in the US are carried out by AT&T, one of the country's largest telecommunications giants. The company has a special division called the Long Lines Department.
In any case, it's Long Lines that hooks all the local telephone companies into the national network.
Its infrastructure stretches across the entire country, connecting people from New York to Los Angeles. In order to meet the growing demand for long-distance phone calls, New data centers are needed to route calls from one place to another. As AT&T's network keeps growing, 33 Thomas Street is set to become one of the company's most important hubs in the US, capable of processing millions of phone calls per day. Over time, the building becomes part of the Long Lines department, earning its other nickname, the Long Lines Building. In some of Warnick's original design documents, the building is simply referred to as Project X, a visionary monument with modern capabilities, with architecture that perfectly serves the needs of machines. And unlike humans, machines don't need windows, just powerful ventilation systems to handle the heat they generate and keep temperatures stable. 33 Thomas Street is packed with tech. These are some of the only publicly available photos taken inside the building. Racks filled with electronics, rooms packed with telephone equipment, massive rows of batteries, likely part of the backup power system. At the heart of it all, 3 enormous 4ESS switches. Each switch is made up of multiple individual machines. At the time, they are the largest high-capacity digital switches ever built, and the first system to route phone calls digitally.
Hey, you're ready, you're funny, you smell pretty good for a guy, now get out there and put your accent to it.
This is how they work. Imagine you live in New York and you want to call your niece in California. When you pick up the phone and dial her number, your local phone system routes the call to a central hub, in this case, 33 Thomas Street. Inside, your voice is digitized and passed through a switch that sends the calls to its destination. The 4ESS switching machines are smart. They automatically select the best path to route your call across the network, a major innovation back then. Now the backbone takes over. Microwave relay towers transmit the signal from one to the next, spaced roughly 30 miles apart. Your call hops from tower to tower until it reaches another hub, with the same type of switch in California. At the end of the line, your niece picks up, and just like that, you're connected. Over time, the relay towers vanished. Fiber optic cables took over, carrying much more capacity, but the need for central hubs remained. By the 1990s, an average of 175 million calls per day passed through 33 Thomas Street. With millions in and around New York City increasingly depending on uninterrupted communication, this facility had to be absolutely secure. The Long Lines building became the nerve center of communication in New York City. In fact, it became indispensable. September 17, 1991, the middle of the night. A power failure at 33 Thomas Street shuts down half the phone traffic. Calls in and out of New York go dead. Air traffic control also goes down at 3 major airports. Flights are thrown into chaos, some delayed by as much as 4 hours. The power failure was caused by a combination of technical and human error. 2 4ESS switches shut down completely. A third is partially affected. Of course, 33 Thomas Street is prepared for this, or at least it should be. But due to yet another technical failure, the backup generators don't kick in. As a result, over 5 million calls are blocked, and air traffic communication to nearly 400 airports is disrupted. On this day, 33 Thomas Street proves just how critical it is to the nation's telephone infrastructure. Sure would be nice to tap that. 9/11 changes the US forever. In response, the government doubles down on the war on terror. Within days, the Patriot Act passes, granting intelligence agencies broad powers to expand mass surveillance. The NSA's primary role is to gather foreign intelligence, but to do that, they need partners. It's 2003. This is Mark Klein, a technician at AT&T. His job is to maintain equipment at one of the company's internet and telephone hubs in San Francisco. One day he notices something strange on the floor below, a door with no handles. It just has a sign on it, 641A. The room sits directly below the 7th floor server room, where internet traffic from millions of people flows every day. Klein is curious. He wants to know what's behind that door. Eventually he comes across the building plans, and slowly he starts putting the pieces together. Room 641A is wired directly to the internet room upstairs. Klein discovers that it houses a device known as a splitter. A splitter copies internet traffic, the very data flowing through the servers above. Emails, phone calls, pictures, videos, the communications of millions, all duplicated and sent into room 641A. Mark Klein realizes he's uncovered something huge, but for now he stays silent. He's scared, and unsure if anyone would even believe him. In 2005, news breaks. President George W. Bush has quietly authorized the NSA to spy on American citizens. This is the moment Mark Klein decides to go public. With the help of a digital rights group, he files a class action lawsuit against AT&T on behalf of everyone whose data was secretly monitored. But in 2008, the case gets dismissed. Congress passes the FISA Amendments Act, a law that retroactively legalizes the surveillance program and grants AT&T legal immunity. Still, Klein's actions leave a mark. He exposed Room 641A and revealed that AT&T was helping the US government spy on its own customers. And his revelations are just the beginning, the calm before a much greater storm. In 2013, a 29-year-old NSA analyst tells his supervisors he's taking a couple of weeks off. He says it's for epilepsy treatment. In reality, he boards a plane to Hong Kong. Here, he will leak top-secret NSA files to the press and inform the public about sweeping privacy violations.
Former CIA employee and computer
The U.S. is on the hunt. Top secret information about the U.S.
NSA leaker
program.
Edward Snowden.
Edward Snowden shares thousands of classified documents with journalists, highly sensitive material that offers a rare look inside the NSA's surveillance machine. The Snowden files reveal something staggering. The NSA hasn't just been spying on U.S. citizens, but also on politicians, allies, foreign governments, and even world leaders. A global scandal erupts, exposing the vast scope of the agency's mass surveillance program. Journalists around the world begin working together, combing through the documents and gradually releasing them to the public. Over the following years, pieces of the puzzle come together, one at a time. And in 2016, reporters at The Intercept go public with a shocking discovery. Intelligence agencies use codenames to conceal sensitive operations. In the leaked NSA files, some of these codenames appear again and again. One of them is Blarney, a surveillance program focused on intercepting foreign communications flowing into the US. Another program is called Fairview, a partnership between the NSA and a major unnamed US telecom operation. And then there's this, Titan Point. The leaked files identified Titan Point as a secret NSA surveillance site. Hidden in the heart of New York City, Titan Point appears to house highly specialized technology, including so-called foreign gateway switches, with Rimrock access. Rimrock is code for 4 ESS switches. And then there's Lithium. According to the files, Lithium is a partner responsible for supervising Titan Point. Earlier reporting had already revealed what Lithium really stands for, AT&T, the owner of 33 Thomas Street. Journalists at The Intercept start connecting the dots, and they conclude that Titan Point is a codename for the Long Lines building. Their investigation reveals that NSA has been using 33 Thomas Street as a major mass surveillance site. The building even shows up in a leaked travel guide meant for NSA agents. They're told to prepare cover stories for both family members and co-workers. Agents must also use a cover vehicle provided by the agency when visiting a site like 33 Thomas Street. According to the handbook, the NSA works closely with the FBI, which handles security at Titan Point. Conveniently, the FBI has offices right next to the skyscraper.
So here is 33 Thomas Street, and there is the FBI building.
The guide also describes how to enter the building. You literally just ring the buzzer.
This is an intercom here, and it's locked. And I was told I could not, and I cannot take any videos from the front.
Sharik actually caught someone leaving the building.
Hi! Can I ask you a quick question just for 1 minute?
This is the first time I've ever been in this building. There's actually not supposed to be people in here. I just went inside and that was like the first thing I noticed. I was like, where's natural light? I don't, people may know it's my voice, but I'll just say this much. I think there's only a few people in there and it was pretty much empty.
Probably just a random person, or an NSA agent with their cover story on lock. We will never know. But what exactly is the NSA doing here? According to The Intercept, there's a hidden room inside 33 Thomas Street, one that closely resembles Room 641A. In the Snowden leaks, it's referred to as a Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility, or SCIF for short. This room enables the NSA to tap into virtually all communications passing through the building. First, there are the 4 ESS switches inside the building, the routers that process millions of phone calls each day. Then, if you look at the rooftop of the building, you'll see massive satellite dishes. It's the only location in New York City where AT&T holds an official license for satellite Earth stations. These dishes are likely part of Skid Row, a surveillance system designed to intercept internet data passing between satellites. They most likely capture video calls and video conferences. All intercepted data is funneled through an AT&T interface, then sent directly to NSA headquarters in Maryland. The NSA can then access it through a system called X-Key Score.
I can see who you talked to. I can see who your friends on Facebook are. I can see the text messages you sent. I can read the emails you wrote.
The NSA has developed its own search engine, a kind of Google for spies. X-Key Score lets NSA agents dig deep into anyone's life. Every bit of data captured from 33 Thomas Street and other hubs is at their fingertips, ready to be searched and analyzed.
Let's say I want to read John Key's email. I enter his email address, and it sends that search to every one of these sensor networks around the world. And they search their local database of metadata and content, the content of all communications that pass through these sites.
AT&T cooperated with the NSA in many instances. Internal documents even praised the company for its extreme willingness to help with NSA's missions. In 2003, a secret court order allowed AT&T to help the NSA wiretap all internet communications from the United Nations headquarters in New York. To this day, AT&T never publicly acknowledged its cooperation with the NSA, or what happens inside 33 Thomas Street.
I'm still very curious what it will be like to go close, but the security guard is still there. She has not moved at all.
We reached out to AT&T for comment, but received no response. A 2018 report by The Intercept suggests that there are at least 8 other sites across the US, operated by AT&T, that the NSA may be using for surveillance. Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Washington, D.C., they all look alike. Strange, windowless buildings. Architecture, not meant for people, but for machines. Machines hungry for the data of millions. To us, 33 Thomas Street, with its mysterious, humming presence, remains the most interesting one of them all, and also the most terrifying. Inside a stuffy field office of the FBI in Jacksonville, it's a notoriously sleepy outpost of the Bureau, until today. A mysterious informant calls up the office to let them know that the famous beloved McDonald's Monopoly game is rigged. A ring of criminals have been secretly pulling the strings for over a decade. More than $24 million have been stolen. The FBI kicks off a manhunt with 25 agents on the case. 20,000 phone numbers will be surveilled. It will ultimately result in a massive undercover sting operation. The agents will discover that behind this scheme is a vast network of mafiosos, psychics, strip club owners, and Mormons. But one mastermind sits at the center of it all. He holds the keys to the treasure and rakes in most of the profits. He's known by most as Uncle Jerry. How did he do it?
It's the Monopoly game, only at McDonald's. With over 50 million prizes, it's super-sized excitement.
Starting in 1987, McDonald's launched the Monopoly promotion and started putting little game pieces from Monopoly onto their packaging.
This is Jeff Maish. He's a crime journalist who broke the story in 2018, 17 years after the convictions. His article went viral and set off a holiday bidding war for the rights to his story. He ultimately sold them for $1 million.
And I have one here. I don't collect many things from my stories, but I do have one of the original winning game cups here. It says "Pool to Play," and on the side you can just see it says to collect and win, just peel off the game stamp and apply to your game board. And when you've applied enough pieces to your game board and you've won a prize, you mail it off to McDonald's. And they send you your Sega Game Gear or your Dodge Viper.
McDonald's usually runs the game twice per year. The cash prizes are up to $1 million in an instant win. The chance at winning that prize is 1 in 250 million. The game brings McDonald's fat profits. Whenever the game is running, business increases by up to 40% more than usual. 1 in 250 million is an extremely long shot. You're far more likely to get struck by lightning, twice. But the caller on the phone with the agents in Jacksonville that day said that 3 of the recent big-ticket winners were in fact related, despite having different names. The odds for 3 legitimate winners to all be related are inconceivably low. The caller also claimed that one man, who they only knew by Uncle Jerry, was the mastermind behind the scheme. The FBI doesn't know this yet, but his full name is Jerome Jacobson. In a case like this, the FBI might have to surveil suspects to collect evidence. But what if someone collects all this information about you and they don't have a legitimate reason? Today, the internet is full of threats. Some of them involve our most sensitive information. In fact, there is a huge shadow industry surrounding our data. So-called data brokers snatch your browsing history, your contact information, and your online transactions. This data is often bundled into shadow profiles that are then sold. You may receive a robocall or tailored email based on your shadow profile. In the worst-case scenario, someone may try to steal your identity. Incognito helps you to remove your data from the numerous lists of data brokers. You just create your account and give Incognito the right to act on your behalf. Incognito then contacts the data brokers and requests the removal of your sensitive information. You can always see the current status in the dashboard. There is a satisfying progress report from how many data brokers lists you've been removed from. By scanning this QR code or via incognito.com/FernTV, you can get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incognito plan with the code FernTV. With the Family and Friends plan, you can invite up to 4 additional people. Always handle your personal data with care.
Jerry Jacobson is one of those just incredible characters in American true crime history, because he was at one stage a good guy, a police officer in Florida.
As a kid, Jerry is obsessed with becoming an FBI agent. When he starts working as a police officer, it seems like he's on that track. But his career in law enforcement is very brief. He develops health problems and is unable to continue. Later, he finds a job in security at Simon Marketing. This is where he really finds his stride. He's known for being ultra-professional and ultra-fastidious, so he quickly rises through the ranks. In just a few years, he's earning 6 times his police officer salary. It's the end of the 80s. Jerry is now the head of security at Simon Marketing. McDonald's outsources almost all of their promotional activity to the company. So when the chain comes up with the ingenious idea of starting a monopoly promotion, Simon Marketing is tasked with producing and distributing the game pieces.
So it was Jerry's job to ensure the security of the entire promotion. So he arrived at work, he had to supervise the big supercomputer that would draw the winning piece. He would supervise the technicians who were putting the winning tokens onto the packaging. He had to personally scissor them out from a printing press.
Jerry's a tough boss. As a former cop, he's obsessed with rules and security. He's constantly writing up people for little missteps, and he hounds everyone in the factory involved in token production, even following them to the bathroom and checking their shoes to make sure none have been stolen. Jerry personally delivers the winning pieces to McDonald's packaging factories across the country.
He hides each piece in a secret vest that he wears under his shirt as he's traveling around the United States, feeling a little bit like a secret agent or a superhero with a secret. Every time he arrives in a new state, he's carrying a secret piece that's going to make somebody a millionaire.
When new game pieces are released, Jerry makes a big flashy show of how secure the process was. In truth, Jerry starts stealing from McDonald's. His first theft is small fry. At this point, he only wants to help his stepbrother Marvin Braun out, and maybe show off a bit to prove that he can. So in 1989, he gives Marvin a game piece worth $25,000. Marvin is the first fake winner. Pretty much a victimless crime, right? McDonald's is giving away the money anyway, and it's not like the chain is some noble charity. The game earns them considerable profits. Plus, Jerry later testifies that whenever the computer selected a Canadian factory to get a winning token, Simon Marketing would allegedly run the program again so that a US location was chosen. In Jerry's view, this means the game is already rigged in favor of American players. So why not get his own piece of the pie?
And then one day he's talking to his butcher in the local supermarket, and he tells the butcher what's going on, and the butcher says, "Well, I'd like to win."
Jerry agrees, but he wants to make sure that nothing traces back to him. So he instructs the butcher to give the prize to a friend of his.
And of course, Jerry turns on his television one day, and there's a commercial from McDonald's with a lucky winner on it, and he sees his butcher celebrating his win, and he goes crazy. And he calls the butcher and says, "What are you doing? We know each other. You can't... we're friends." So Jerry decides that in the future he's going to have to find winners at random. He needs people that are not connected to him at all. And so the conspiracy grows bigger.
Until this point, it's all relatively small amounts of money. But one day, Jerry receives a package by mistake.
And inside, a blank set of anti-tamper seals from Hong Kong, which means that he has everything he needs to open the envelopes and steal the game pieces for himself, and then use a spare seal to stick it back down and basically get away with the crime. Simon Marketing, the company that Jerry works for, hires an independent auditor to make sure everything's going okay. Remember, this is a multi-million-dollar promotion. They have to be all buttoned up.
The auditor is a very serious woman. She means business. She accompanies Jerry everywhere, and Jerry's always getting on her nerves. When he wants to fly first class on the company card, she insists on sitting in coach. He's getting drunk and bragging to her about it, showing off the empty liquor bottles. He's chatting up whoever will listen, bragging about once having been a cop. He's also obsessed with accumulating airline points, so he's flying to factories in random cities just because. And the whole time she has to follow him. She's watching Uncle Jerry like a hawk. Her job is to make sure that when Jerry hands the winning ticket over to a factory, that everything goes as it should, that the tickets always stay in his special security vest. And they do, up to a point. The point where she can't follow him. In the men's bathroom, Jerry quits procrastinating. With a few quick, deliberate movements, he takes the envelopes with winning pieces out of his vest, opens the seal, and replaces them with regular game pieces. He seals the envelope back down with one of his special anti-tamper seals, the godsend from Hong Kong, and slinks back to his seat like nothing ever happened. The auditor has no idea. If the anti-tamper seals had not been accidentally mailed to him, and the auditor assigned to him hadn't been female, maybe none of this would have happened. Or maybe if he ignored the temptation, he would have enjoyed a nice, normal, comfortable life. Adjusted for inflation, he was earning over $170K per year in today's money. But he went for it. For Jerry, the opportunity to control the game is no accident. He doesn't believe in accidents. He's a superstitious man.
I know that at that time, this is kind of silly. At this time, he starts seeing psychics and mediums to reassure him. He's a strong believer in paranormal and faith healers, so he starts seeing mediums and psychics and fortune tellers.
Jerry now has full access to the winning game pieces, but he can't cash them in himself, of course. That would arouse suspicion. He needs to find fake winners who will pay him upfront for the game piece. His butcher, for example, asks a distant friend to pay $2,000 for a $10,000 winning ticket. The higher the prize, the higher the cost. Up to $100,000 upfront for a $1 million ticket. And it works. But quickly Jerry starts to tap through his network. He needs to put distance between himself and the winners. He's on the look for middlemen, well-connected people who can industrialize the operation, and being a superstitious person, he takes chance encounters as meaningful signs.
So he's at the airport one day and he meets another Jerry Colombo, and the two hit it off, waiting there for their aeroplanes. Mr. Colombo is a very heavy-set Italian-American gentleman, and Mr. Colombo claimed that he was part of the infamous Colombo crime family.
Colombo is a larger-than-life character, like someone who modeled his whole personality off of The Sopranos, and Uncle Jerry is lapping it all up.
He's an entertainer. He says he's born in Sicily, raised in Brooklyn. He's got these underground casinos, and I think Jerry is just completely enamored by him. And he also seems like the type of guy that could find winners really easily.
Colombo even has an out-of-zone strip club in South Carolina that he got designated as a house of worship in order to skirt regulations. He calls it the Church of the Fuzzy Bunnies, and he has the dancers read the Bible before they start stripping.
Well, I guess God hasn't talked to you lately. He came to me in a dream a couple of weeks ago, and he told me what I'm doing is fine.
Uncle Jerry appreciates Colombo's ability to think outside the box. It doesn't take much to rope Colombo into the scam. Uncle Jerry passes Colombo a game piece for a Dodge Viper, and Colombo is hooked. He is also obsessed with The Godfather, surprise, surprise, and has dreams of being an actor. So he agrees to be in a McDonald's commercial, waving a car key.
Jerry Colombo won a Dodge Viper, and there are two 1 million.
He gets to live out his acting ambitions, but it means he's now too close to the game to profit from it directly, so he has to start finding other winners, which helps the scheme take off for Uncle Jerry. Colombo is brilliant at finding new winners willing to pay, and he sends the majority of the kickbacks to Uncle Jerry. The two Jerrys are making each other very rich. Jerry Colombo keeps picking Italian-American men on the East Coast as winner, and his father-in-law gets a $1 million piece. Not exactly the move of a mastermind mafioso. To make the win seem random, his wife Robin convinces him to get women and people of color winning tickets in other parts of the country. For a while, it's all going so well, but then everything changes.
Things are not going very well in Colombo's marriage. Robin Colombo's feeling like she might not want to be a mafia wife. She's feeling a bit paranoid about life in the mob. And one day she's driving with her husband, Colombo, and suddenly a massive Ford truck smashes into them. And it's a horrendous high-speed crash, and their car is crushed against a concrete wall.
Colombo is taken to the hospital, where he takes a turn for the worse. He dies a few days after the crash. Now Uncle Jerry is alone. He's just lost his super recruiter, and he doesn't know it yet, but the FBI is on his trail.
Who knows? We don't know. So many people could have called the FBI. A disgruntled winner. Remember, a lot of these winners, their lives changed. One minute they're poor, the next minute they've got $1 million. They're driving around in a Corvette. There's a lot of jealousy. There's now so many corrupt winners out there, dozens of people. They might be drunk, bragging about it at the bar.
Uncle Jerry finds new recruiters to replace Jerry Colombo's role. Some are dodgy, like the drug trafficker A.J. Glomb. He's just jumped on for a 12-year sentence for shipping kilos of cocaine across the U.S. and sells most of his winning pieces to buddies in the drug dealing business. Other recruiters that Uncle Jerry finds are seemingly upstanding, like the Mormon Dwight Baker, a beloved member of his church with no previous criminal record. He's a real estate developer with 5 kids trying to get his dreams for a golf course and a luxury resort off the ground. But he struggled to find investors, and he also owes tens of thousands of dollars in back taxes. A windfall would really help him, so despite his moral misgivings, he gets involved in the scheme too. But none of the recruiters are careful enough. The winners they select aren't random. Back in 2000, when the FBI gets the name Uncle Jerry from the informant, they know nothing about who it could be. Is he a McDonald's insider? Is it even a real name? McDonald's shares the contact information of all the previous winners with the FBI. To find out who Uncle Jerry is, the officers analyze the winners' phone records to determine who they were in frequent contact with right around the time of their win. All these people, who are seemingly unrelated and don't know each other, were in contact with a certain Jerome Jacobson. The FBI is sure they found their man, but they need proof, like a taped conversation with Jerry and a fake winner that spells out what they're up to, evidence that no jury could deny. They convince McDonald's to run one more Monopoly game to catch him red-handed. It's certainly a reputational risk for the company. How would the public feel if they found out McDonald's had run a game they knew was rigged? But the company also wants to know who'd stolen millions from them, so they comply.
Together with McDonald's, the FBI come up with a McSting.
They create 2 big wins, worth $1 million each. They then monitor Jerry Jacobson and his network closely and wait for someone to claim the prices. They listen in on a phone call of a friend of the Mormon Dwight Baker, Huey. He says that he plans to sell the winning prize to someone in Texas. This someone turns out to be his brother-in-law, who tries to claim the price a few days later. The second big winner is Michael Hoover. He was recruited by Andrew Glomb, the drug trafficker.
Now, Mr. Hoover is bankrupt and a casino pit boss in Rhode Island. So a bit of a sketchy character. So he rings the hotline and says, I found $1 million game ticket. So the FBI and McDonald's decide to go down there to meet him. They knock on the door. They've got a giant check, you know, the comedy-sized checks, and a video crew, and all of the McDonald's staff are actually FBI agents who are undercover. And so they do a television interview, and Mr. Hoover gives this long-winded story about how he found his magic ticket. He bought a copy of a magazine, and the magazine had fallen into the sea, and then he bought another magazine, and the ticket was in there. So the camera crew listened to this very patiently. The men behind the camera are undercover FBI agents, and they give him his prize, and they take all that evidence, and not long after that, the FBI descend and they arrest everyone. So the FBI fans out, they arrest Uncle Jerry at home.
Over 50 people were indicted, and dozens of wins were proven to be fake. Jerry admitted on the stand to having stolen 60 game pieces. And for a while, America followed the consequences intensely. So many millions had played the McDonald's game, so people were invested in the story. Burger King tried to get a class action lawsuit together, alleging fake advertisement. The trial began on September 10th, 2001. Then the world's attention shifted. There were bigger things to care about than the McDonald's PR scandal. Nearly all of the 53 defendants pled guilty, including Uncle Jerry. Fines were issued and prison time was sentenced. Uncle Jerry got the most, $12 million in restitution fees, and a 37-month prison sentence. Simon Marketing and the printing company who made the tokens were gutted, leaving hundreds jobless. And Dwight Baker was excommunicated from the Mormon Church. The game of Monopoly was invented in the 1930s, the decade of the Great Depression, by a feminist activist. She intended to teach people about the evils of wealth accumulation